and talking about it. So in creative society it will be the same. The scientists in different ways will be preparing laws, what we should do, what we should change, and then people on self-government elections will choose what they want. This law, what plus of this law or minuses.
So would you say it's being governed by technocrats?
No, it's not. I think it's a little bit basic on technical because now.
A little bit basic, what do you mean?
Yeah, because we have a lot of problems now because all technologies, technologies, are prohibited. Like, for example, free energy. Maybe you know in US it's developed, it's patented, this free energy, but you can't sell it. You only can sell the energy. It's a problem. It's stupid system because it's consumer. They must sell something to buy something. So we want to cut this circle to give everybody. So everybody will have free energy generator.
Sorry to cut you off, but isn't this very similar to the socialist utopia? It seems very similar to that.
It's social utopia because it's have power. It's not. It's not have leaders because socialism it's only for one part of people. We want to unite all over the world with different people, with different languages, different religions, with different groups. No matter who you are, you will live on one level. It's normal. It's like I think social utopism. It's like STEM. It's not good.
Could I summarize what you're saying is the power will not be top down but bottom up?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Yes. And the first step, we need to unite to have this power. When we are separate, we can do nothing because one leader told you one thing, my leader told me another thing, and we will fight with you.
Yeah.
It's a problem. So we need to unite, we need to think in one way because everybody wants to have a safety life. Everybody wants to have normal health care, normal life. Yeah, it's normal things.
Security, economic development, and the ability to have freedom to express your religious faith or these types of things.
Yes.
But in society, most people, they wouldn't disagree with, say, 80-90% of what you're saying.
Yes.
But the problem is, we do have a percentage of human beings who have narcissistic traits. We have a percentage of human beings who don't believe in these shared values. So how would you implement it, if it's a consensus, how would you implement it in society? Do you see the problem?
Yes, I know the problem, but this is a very small part of the society. Who against of this?
We could say 5%.
Okay, it's 5%. So they must maybe thinking about what they're thinking 95%. Okay, because if we will live on one world, we need to have one rule. Because it's not normal when I have one rule, I can beat you. You don't have this rule. It's not normal. It's crazy rules. Yeah, it's like.
I mean, it's like in London. Sorry, I forgot your name already.
Ivan.
Ivan. My name is Subbor. In London, if we have a rule which is you can't park on a double yellow line.
Yep.
Another place you have a rule that actually you can only park on double yellow line. People are going to get confused. So I agree with you. One rule makes sense.
Yes.
But then the question is, here, people need to be civilized in a set of values to follow the law. So what values does this system promote?
The value, so you will have new technologies for every house, like free energy, like replicator, like I think it's funny, but in Star Trek, it's a replicator. It's realistic now, because even if you check in Google, one guy in the UK made this mechanism which made any drinks you want from the atoms. So it's not a problem to make iPhone or hot burger because it's the same atoms.
Right.
Yeah, it's only change information. That's all.
Yeah.
So when every people have the same, they have food, they have flats, they have enough things what he need. So it will be easy to talk.
So I would say, Ivan, this depends on your view of human nature. Because you're talking about human nature,
Yes.
and there's two main views that are currently the most predominant. There's the Rousseau view of man being a noble savage, and there's the Hobbesian view of man being, life being short and brutish, and nature being red in tooth and claw. So you have these two natures. You obviously are pointing towards the Rousseau version, which is if everybody has basic safety,
Yes,
basic clothing,
yes.
basic...
It will be easier to talk about ideology
Yes.
with people, about culture, about to be clever, to thinking about maybe something higher, about maybe your soul, about something else about this.
Sure,
Yeah.
but Ivan, the issue here is somebody could say,
Yep.
your conception of human nature, how do you know that's true? Because followers of Thomas Hobbes would say, no, that view of human nature is wrong. Human beings are actually at bottom, savage-like, and we have a veneer of civility because we have laws above us. You're saying the opposite. You're saying human civility is human nature. Without an authority, we'll be nice. But how do you know which view of human nature is correct?
I'm thinking, first of all, I think in my family, in my life, yeah?
Right.
I think it what good for me. Yeah, I know what is culture, I know what is good for me, and I know that if everything will be good for you, I will be safety with you, yeah? You will be not hungry, you will have everything, and you will help me. So if people will help each other, they then will help you. So this is my idea. And
But the reason you have that idea is because you're a good person. But there's lots of people. There's lots.
In real, it's 99% the same as like me.
No.
But it's a problem of society.
Okay, so I'll give you an
It's
example.
a problem of propaganda. It's a problem of the TV movies, which are not good culture.
No, but you have to understand, Ivan, that
Yeah.
you're projecting your goodness on people. The world is not as good as you. Not everybody follows the ideas that you have. Do you see?
Yes.
What I'm trying to get to,
Yeah.
I believe this idea, some of the ideas here
Yeah.
are excellent.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody would disagree.
Yes.
But what I'm trying to get to, Ivan, is you need to have a set of beliefs and values in order to be a good person. You can't just have good ideas. Do you see?
So this means in this creative society, all people will be like me, because it's normal to be polite, to be good. It's normal.
But then, why do we have so much crime in London? Why do we have so much? So there is evil in society.
Because governments or people on the top, they are thinking, okay, if a society will be separate, it will be easy to manage it. So that's why they are making it. That's why they are making so poor life. That's why the police is not working now. That's why. It's a problem.
But the people at the top,
Yep.
they're from the bottom.
Yes.
So
So we are asking people from the bottom. We are not talking with people on the top because they don't want it.
no, I understand that. But look, what I'm trying to get to is for any good idea for how a society functions,
Yes.
at rock bottom, you need a set of beliefs and values.
Yes.
So the beliefs and values that you have,
Yes.
I'm trying to understand what are they under your worldview. Because what I would say as a Muslim is,
Uh-huh.
if society collectively
Yes.
doesn't have faith in God, then it's hard for people to be moral. Because ultimately, there's no idea that if I do something good, there's somebody watching me. If I do something evil, somebody's watching me. Human beings without faith, I believe, can do. Look, as an example,
I challenge his morality for you.
we're having a conversation.
Which one would you choose?
Sorry.
Which one would you
Sorry,
choose?
we're having
We
a.
have to finish.
Yeah, sure. Sorry.
Which one would you choose
Look,
to have?
what I'm trying to get to is, as a Muslim, I don't disagree with some of the things you mentioned here. I think they're excellent, Ivan. But I would say we should tell people not just how to behave, but why behavior like this is good,
Yes.
And I believe it comes back down to whether you believe in God or not. I don't believe you can have good ideas in society being implemented without God.
It's not. It's a next step because
Okay.
next step will be we will think because we need to unite all over the world. I think for me, the Islam must be all over the world.
Yes.
It's because Islam it's love. Yeah, it's a religion of love. But now we are so separate. If we will talk about this, people will hate you because I'm thinking now another way. So first of all, we need to give people more food, more flats, more some social things. And the next step, we will talk about humanity. We'll talk about what something else.
Okay,
And
so I'll give you one historical example and I want
Okay.
your thoughts on it.
Okay.
I'll give you my perspective on it and you give your thoughts. Lenin wanted good for society, even though I disagree with him because he was an atheist. But then when he created this structure,
Yes.
the ones who took over after him, like Stalin, who he didn't want him to take over, they became tyrants. Now what they did is they tried to implement what you said. They tried to give everybody...
but they don't give power to people because in
They
communism.
only talked about it. They only talked about it, but didn't give it.
Yeah. So that's exactly what I was pointing towards. Whoever comes to power, they can make you all the promises they want, but when they get power,
So that's why we don't have any leaders in creative society. You see, there is no leaders. There is no man for, I'm the first in creative society, so I will be the first president. It's impossible in creative society because you have self-government, you have management on the place where I'm expert. I'm expert in construction, so I can construct.
but
That's all.
then you would be the leader
No,
of that area.
No. I don't want to be a leader. I want to be a simple man.
Only
with-
someone that can do the job the best can take responsibility upon him to achieve something.
Yeah. No worries. But by the way,
But then if they're not good at that job, they get replaced by someone who is better.
Okay, now here's my question to you. How is that different to what the promises that were made in the early 20th century by the socialists? They said the same thing that you're saying.
Because that's how they get into power.
And when they got to power, they didn't do that.
No, because
What-
power corrupts.
Corrupts. But the point I was trying to tell Ivan, sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Edward.
My name is Subbor. The point I was trying to get to is, as a Muslim, I would say these ideas, some of them that I read, I haven't read all of it, the 8 things you have, some of them are excellent and most of humanity would agree.
Well, that's because it's taken from
Humanity. But the point I was saying to Ivan and I want to say to you, without faith in God, humanity is not going to act in a moral way. You need faith to act. I wanted your opinion on this.
Yeah, well, you see, the correlation between God and humaneness is so close together that it's inseparable.
Yes.
Right? But if people don't believe in God, for argument's sake,
Yeah.
we have atheists, we have Christians, we have Buddhists. How do we unite everybody?
Okay.
You can't convert everyone to Islam
No.
if they don't want
No,
to, right?
no.
So therefore, you have to have an alternative. And an alternative is a neutral, free of religion, free of politics organization that preserves all people's beliefs. But we concentrate on the 8 foundations which are beneficial to anybody,
Right.
any human being.
So-
because these are humane requirements
Yeah.
that people themselves have demonstrated.
Yeah. So when you're talking about, say, Islam, I'm not saying we convert the entire world because some people disagree and say I'm a Buddhist, I'm whatever.
That's correct,
Okay.
yes.
But you can agree upon certain shared values in society and say, I don't want to harm you, you don't want to harm me, let's be friends. However, the point I was getting to is these ideas, ultimately, unless people come with a perspective on God in the world, any laws you tell them, any ideas you tell them, they're not going to listen. Do you see?
Yes.
Well, not necessarily. I would disagree. You
Okay,
know why
sure,
I would
sure.
disagree? Excuse me. I believe in God. You believe in God. For us, yes, we understand that the way it should be.
Yeah.
But for those people that don't believe in God,
Yeah.
some people have their grievances with God, thinking that God is to blame
Yeah.
for whatever lack of whatever they may not have had or whatever may have happened to them in their life. right? They may blame God for it, right? Which in fact God had nothing to do with it.
Well, God.
Right? But what I'm saying
Yeah.
is that people having something, some base to start from, then when they grow spiritually, they can then make an educated choice. You follow?
I understand where you're coming from, but a question I would give to you, Ed, is don't you think we should be looking for guidance from God on how to run society? Because human ideas,
Prophets did that for us.
yes,
Prophets did that for us. They came, they told us how we should live. We should love each other, we should live in peace, we should treat each other as we would ourselves. This is all, this is there.
yeah.
Right? So they came and they said that to us as a guidance. We already have that. The trouble is, people are not following it.
Okay.
Okay? And in order for them to follow it, they need to see the benefit of it. Because in the current society, as
Yeah.
a consumerist society that we live in,
Yeah.
they fend for themselves.
Right.
That's how the society is created.
It's a rat race.
That's correct. So the more money you make, the more freedom you'll have. It's not true.
Yeah.
It's not true. But they don't know that, do they?
And the more happiness you have, apparently.
Apparently. But it's not true.
Not true.
We know that it's not true. Unless you have God inside you and you have that love,
Yes.
you can then feel His support,
See,
His love,
see,
and you can function.
see, when you talk about the benefits of having this society, I know where you're coming from. But your point, Ed, is the point I was trying to make to Ivan. I don't think you disagree. I see my job as somebody who comes across a lot of people who don't believe in God. And I believe for society, even at a micro level, obviously I'm not talking about global and state, even at a micro level to be better, human beings ultimately need to be connected to God.
They do. Well, we are connected. Whether they
I
are
don't think
aware
it-
of
I don't think in society-
listen, they don't know that, but they are. And the thing is, the good news is, science is now coming closer and closer to the point that they realize that there is an existence of God. And our job will be a lot easier in the very near future, thanks to quantum physics and the findings that they have had. So this is all a progression. It's happening. It's happening at a faster pace than before because we have the communication now. We have the internet. We have anyone that wants to do research, they can do that. Okay. So in a way, your job is helped by a lot of new discoveries that are coming out. So those people that are not convinced yet soon will be.
I see what you're saying,
Yeah.
although I would slightly disagree. I would say the evidence is already there and has always been there.
I know.
The problem that I believe people have suffered from is we collectively as human beings, we have plugged into the individualistic, capitalistic, naturalistic, materialistic worldview and we've forgotten God.
That's right.
Because anybody, I've seen this in the world, anybody who's away from major cities are more likely to believe in God than people who don't live in major cities. And the reason is when you're out in the desert, when you're out in the villages, you see nature, you see the sun, you see this, and you understand your dependency as a human being, how fragile you are.
That's correct.
But when you are in this rat race, in this capitalistic utopia, you forget God. So even though we come from different perspectives, I'm Muslim, I'm not sure whether you're Christians or something else, at least we can agree without God, you cannot have true happiness in your life.
That's true. We don't disagree.
It was wonderful speaking to you, gentlemen. Ed and
Thank you.
Evan. I have a copy of the Quran because I took your materials, so I thought it would be good for you guys.
Thank you. That's very.
It's very nice. I'll get you a copy as well. It's very good speaking to you. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum. How are you? How are you, man? You okay? You good? Alhamdulillah. Very good.